What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to another video. Today, I am doing my official 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule predictions. I'll be going through all the regular points-paying races, and I will be going through all the exhibition races that are going to be included in the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. So let's go ahead and just start off with the 2020 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Kicking off on February 15th, we will have the Busch Clash once again at the Daytona Road Course. Last year's race at Daytona Road Course for the Busch Clash, I thought was extremely successful. We're not going to be having a point-seeing race at the Daytona Road Course, so they will once again at the Daytona Road Course be having this event for the Busch Clash. I thought the event, like I said, was really, really good. You had an incredible pitch between Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, and I think this event once again is going to return here at Daytona Road Course. The next race that's going to take place is the Daytona Duels. We've always do this every single year since around 1959 and 1960. We've always set the field for Daytona 500, and once again, 3 days before, on that Thursday, we are going to see the duels at Daytona take place to set the field, the grid for the race, and tell which drivers will get into the field and which drivers will go home for the field. And also, we'll know by then who are going to be the front row sitters as well, because they're going to have qualifying on Tuesday evening, because remember, the Super Bowl is going to be taking place the week before. Right after that, on February 20th, is going to be the Great American Race, the Daytona 500, to kick off the season. Hopefully, this year's race is a lot better than this past year's Daytona 500, but I'm really excited for it for sure, and the Daytona 500 is going to kick off the 2021 season. This should be no surprise, in my honest opinion. Up next, the second race, in my opinion, that will be on the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series schedule is going to take place once again at Homestead Miami Speedway as the second event. They move Homestead from around the 8th or 9th event of 2020 up to the second event here in 2000, actually the third event, technically was supposed to be the second event, but he moved it to the third event in 2021. I think NASCAR is going to continue to forward a sweepstakes, and they're going to have the race once again at Homestead Miami Speedway. The racing in 2020 was absolutely incredible, and I think it was a really, really good weather, and it's also going to be a great way to almost be around the spring break time. I think the racing is going to be very, very solid again, and Homestead will be the second race of the 2022 season. Right after Homestead, we are going to begin the West Coast Swing, and race 3 on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule is going to take place at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Once again, the racing in Las Vegas this year was absolutely incredible. We saw Kyle Larson basically dominate, and once again in 2022, we're going to see Las Vegas become the third race again. That track has been really, really great, and it will also have 2 dates once again as well, by the way, in the 2022 season, but I think the race is going to continue to be really, really good, and this will be the third race of the 2022 season. The fourth race in 2022 and also the second race of the West Coast Swing is going to take place at Auto Club Speedway. Now, this is going to be the last year that is going to be on a 2-mile configuration, as it is expected in 2023 that Auto Club is going to end up becoming a half-mile circuit. So, originally, they were supposed to have this as a half-mile circuit for the 2022 season, but because of the COVID-19 pandemic, NASCAR and a lot of the teams in SMI and IC, they basically decided that we're going to have Auto Club give fans get an opportunity to go to Auto Club once again in 2022 before they turn it into a half-mile track. The track is also, one of the reasons they're doing that is because of the braciness, and the track is really not going to be fun to drive after. But I think that we'll see some great racing in 2022, and this will be the final time that we will be racing in 2020 here on the 2-mile course. Right after Auto Club, there's going to be a change to the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. I think Phoenix is going to end up losing their day. Now, it's already been announced that Phoenix is going to be the championship race for 2022. But I think NASCAR is going to make a strategy call here to where that none of the teams can get focused for the championship, and they can't focus on that Phoenix race. I think that Sonoma is going to be moved from June all the way up to the end of March. And the reason I think Sonoma is going to be moved up, a lot of fans have been begging for Sonoma to be moved up earlier in the year. The grass is beautiful, it's green, and I think fans would rather go to a cooler temperature out of Sonoma where the grass is green. You can sit up on the grass wall and maybe watch an event. I think that fans are more going to enjoy that, plus the weather is going to be more pleasant. I think this is overall going to work out a lot better for the fans than having it in June. I think Sonoma is going to be pushed up earlier in the year in 2022. Right after that, we're going to end the West Coast Swing, and we're going to head out to the East Coast, technically down to the South, and we're going to once again head to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, it is expected that Atlanta Motor Speedway is going to have a new configuration. They said that they're working on a big project where they will be doing this major product in Atlanta Motor Speedway. This event is once again going to be the 500-mile event, though the track should be repaved, so we shouldn't have as many tire issues in 2022 as we've had in 2021. I think once again Atlanta will put on a pretty good show. I think we'll see the multiple group racing once again, and Atlanta Motor Speedway will be the number 6 on the season. Right after Atlanta Motor Speedway, we're going to be headed out to Texas Motor Speedway. Now, Texas Motor Speedway is actually going to lose its playoff date. Texas is only going to have one race in 2022. I extremely think Texas does not, I personally do not think Texas Motor Speedway deserves to have 2 dates on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. And with Eddie Gossage announcing his retirement for 2002 here after the All-Star race, I really think with the new manager coming in, I think that the clause is going to end, and I think Texas Motor Speedway is going to end up losing one of its dates. The reason we've always had 2 dates at Texas, regardless if it's the All-Star race or 2 regular dates, is because of the Eddie Gossage clause. But now I think that Texas is going to lose one of the states. I think that there's too much PJ1 on the track. It's basically been a one-group track. It's very difficult to pass. It's also been the IndyCar racing over there. I think Texas will only have 1 day, and it will be early this year around the spring break. Right after Texas, we're going to head out to Richmond Speedway. Richmond Speedway, in my opinion, has had some overall solid and overall decent racing throughout the years at Richmond Speedway. But again, I think that a lot of people don't like it, because a lot of people don't like the long green flag routes. It is very difficult to pass at Richmond Speedway. Sometimes strategy does come to play in a track. But I think that Richmond is going to be the number 8 on the 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. We're going to have a 1-week break for Easter. Of course, Easter is going to be taking place on April 17th. And on April 24th, we are going to be returning, actually April 23rd, excuse me, we are going to be returning at Martinsville Speedway for the Martinsville Night Race. Now, they were originally supposed to have the Martinsville Night Race in 2021 once again, but what unfortunately happened in 2021 was the race got rain delayed. They got 45 laps in the event, but the race got rain delayed, and they had to push the race to Sunday, where we saw an Xfinity Series and a Cup Series doubleheader to finish up the date due to the weather that had unfortunately take place. Martinsville will once again be night racing. The racing was really solid. I think it feels a lot better to have this race under the lights, especially the spring race, than have it in the afternoon. I think the racing will be really good, and I'm definitely looking forward to that for sure, but I think Martinsville will be after Richmond. Right after Martinsville, we're going to be headed to Talladega Super Speedway. Talladega's always had really great racing. The race this past year is going to be great. This also is going to be the second time we're going to be racing with the next cars. Remember, the next car is going to be coming into 2022. I'm very excited for the Talladega race once again. Talladega really is, over the years, has not disappointed besides 2018 and 2013. And at points 2015 as well. The racing overall has not really disappointed at Talladega Super Speedway, and we'll be back there once again after the race at Martinsville. Right after Talladega, we are going to be headed to Darlington for the Rebel 400. Darlington, I think, will have 2 dates once again. It's expected that the Rebel 400 weekend is going to be returning in the 2022 season. There's been a renewal tickets basically going out for the Rebel 400, and it will be once again the throwback weekend. I think the throwback weekend was absolutely incredible with the Cup, Truck Series, and Xfinity Series. Yes, I wish it was on the Southern 500 weekend, don't get me wrong. But I think that we also saw not only some great races. Yes, Martin Truex Jr. dominated the last time, but I really think that we will see Darlington get 2 dates once again, and the Rebel 400 will once again take shape and take place once again there after Talladega. Right after Darlington, we are going to be headed to Dover and Rosedale Speedway for the only time of the 2022 season. Again, let me be honest with you, the racing overall Dover has not overall been pleasant, has not been great, but I truly think that Dover Speedway will get 1 day once again in 2022. I think you have to really go to the track and see it in person to really enjoy the racing there, because let's be real, a lot of people have basically said that the racing in Dover itself, going to the track and the fan experience, is a lot better than actually seeing it on TV. So Dover once again will have the weekend after Darlington, and it will take place right there. Right after Dover, we are going to be headed out to Circuit of the Americas. Now, last time what happened at Circuit of the Americas was a lot of rain hit the racetrack. And I think that they are going to try once again. And I think, unlike last time, I don't think rain is going to hit the racetrack. I might have jinxed it right there. But I think that we are going to be headed to Circuit of the Americas right after Dover. Again, when the racing was good and you have all the craziest chaos, I thought the racing was extremely solid. And he saw a lot of strategy as well. And I think NASCAR is going to give the track a second chance. And I think a lot of fans are going to give it a second chance. And we are going to head to Circuit of the Americas right after the Dover weekend. Right after Circuit of Americas, we're going to be headed for the Coca-Cola 600 on May 3rd, actually on May 3rd, 29th. Coco 600 is expected to once again take place. We've ran the Coco 600 since 1960. While this past year was dominated by Kyle Larson, I really extremely do think that the Coke 600 definitely can improve. Again, I'm not overall a big fan. I think a lot of fans are not a big fan of the tradition of the Coke 600, but it is a tradition. It is here to stay. We've had it since 1960. There should be no changes there. The Coke 600 is going to take place. Right after the Coca-Cola 600, we are going to be seeing a change take place for the 2022 season. We're going to be staying kind of in the general area of the kind of like up in the northeast area, well, not northeast, kind of closer to the south area where we kind of are going to be in an area where NASCAR shops are around about 90-100 miles out. There's going to be one race that I have moved due to weather issues earlier this year. That is going to be taking place at Bristol. Bristol Dirt is going to be the weekend after the Cup Series race at the Coca-Cola 600. And the reason I'm moving Bristol Dirt from early in the year, back in April to June, is like I mentioned, due to the weather. And unlike the race last year was on a Sunday afternoon, I think the Cup Series race is actually going to take place on a Saturday evening. I think they're not going to have a lot of those dust problems if you have it on Saturday evening. You have lights as well. And I think the racing overall is going to improve. And like I said, you're not going to have those dust issues take place. So I think Bristol Dirt is going to be right after, because Bristol Dirt has already been announced for next year. And I think that that will once again take place right after the Coca-Cola 600. Right after that, you're going to have the All-Star race. Now, where do I think the All-Star race is going to take place in 2022? Since I said Texas Motor Speedway is not going to get the All-Stars. Now, there's one track that I think could end up getting the All-Star race, and I think this is a little bit out of potential, but I think that there is a very strong chance that this could end up being where the All-Star race takes place in 2022. I think since we're going to kind of generally be in the Nashville area for a couple weeks, why not go to the Nashville Fairgrounds? I think that we need more short tracks on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. I know the track still needs a little bit of renovations, but you're not going to need 100% a ton of renovations for the first race back in Nashville Fairgrounds. I really do believe the Nashville Fairgrounds could come back in 2022, at least for the All-Star race. I don't think you're going to see a points-paying race take place at this track 100%, because I think it's tapers where they have that happen. But I really think that there is a very strong possibility that the Nashville Fairgrounds is going to take place right after Bristol Dirt next year, and I think we will see NASCAR make its return to the Nashville Fairgrounds. Right after Nashville Fairgrounds, which is the All-Star event, we are going to go ahead and return to Nashville Superspeedway for the second of their 4-year term. The racing this past year in Nashville Superspeedway was absolutely awesome. A lot of fans enjoyed it. Yes, Kyle Larson dominated, but the racing behind him was really, really good. You got a lot of multiple group racing. The resin compound that they basically put on the racetrack really overall did go ahead and help the racing overall throughout the event. I think NASCAR will have another very, very strong event. I'm very, very excited about that for sure. And Nashville Superspeedway will once again be back on the schedule in 2022, and we will see this track for the second of their 4 years. Right after Nashville Superspeedway is going to be the Pocono doubleheader. We'll see a Cup race on Saturday, and we're going to see a Cup race on Sunday. Both races this past year were absolutely excellent, and NASCAR once again will do it. Plus, basically, NASCAR has sold out events. Camping has sold. They had, apparently, Pocono said that they had their largest camping that they've ever had in the history of the track, is the largest camping they've ever had. So I think once again in 2022, we're going to see the Pocono double take place. I do think that there's some things they can definitely work on for sure. I think the lengths need to be a little bit, I think the lengths honestly need to be even in my opinion. I think Sunday should be 130. I think Saturday should be 130. I think you need to have evens. It's one of the only things I would change, but I think them making this a Pocono doubleheader, having it separated by 6-7 weeks, I think them having it with basically 130 laps each instead of 130, 140, I think that overall is going to help the racing, but I think extremely we'll see the Pocono double once again here in 2022. The Pocono doubleheader, we are going to be headed to Road America for the 4th of July weekend. We have this actual weekend, as a matter of fact, we are going to be racing in Road America for the first time since 1956, and there was a post on Reddit that basically showed that there was renewal dates for this event. So once again, Road America is expected to be on the schedule once again, which I'm really, really excited about that for sure, and I think Road America once again will be back on the schedule in the 2022 season. Right after Road America, we are going to be staying kind of in the Midwest region. We're going to be going down a little bit farther south, but not too far south, as we are going to be racing at Chicago Street Course for the first time. NASCAR will be racing in their first ever Cup Series Street Course. I don't think NASCAR in their history has ever raced on a street course. We're going to be returning to the Chicago area for the first time since 2019 after we left Chicago, and there has been a lot of push for a Chicago Street Course event, and I do think 100% in the 2022 season, we're finally going to have our first Street Course event. This event really is going to matter a lot more for the fans, but I think that with this being one of the biggest events, I think you're going to have a lot of people tune in, and it's going to be big for people that are living in the city because fans in the city don't have to travel an hour or 2 hours to go to the next racetrack like in Indianapolis or Kansas. You don't have to travel too far, and it's great to see this for sure. And the Chicago Street Course is going to be making its debut here in 2022. I think they're going to have it as early because there's been such a big push for it. I think we'll be seeing the Chicago Street Course make its debut in 2022. Right after the Chicago Street Course, we're going to be headed out to the East Coast, and we're going to be in New England, and we're going to be headed out to New Hampshire Speedway in the East Coast. The only time we're going to be headed out to New Hampshire Speedway, which I think them only having one event has enhanced not only the attendance for the event, but it's also enhanced the racing overall, especially with the PJ1. The PJ1 this is one of the tracks that really works with the PJ1 grip on that track. New Hampshire will make its turn in 2022. New Hampshire's been on a stable on the schedule since 1993, so I don't see anything changing right here. New Hampshire will be back on the schedule in 2022. Right after New Hampshire, we are going to be headed out to the south once again, and we're going to be racing at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, unlike the first event, this event is actually going to be the 400-miler event that is going to take place. Once again, like I mentioned, we'll probably see multi-groove racing once again at Atlanta Motor Speedway with a more repaved track, with a more smooth surface. We'll be headed out to Atlanta once again. I also do think this second event is actually going to be unlike this past, which we're going to be here very soon for the Cup event. I think that this is also going to end up taking place on Saturday night for the Fan Safety, where it's going to be pushed a little bit similar to what Vegas has done. I think the Cup race may be pushed a little bit later into Sunday afternoon. But if I was them, I would move this race overall to Saturday evening for the sake of the fans. Move it to a little bit later in Sunday. That's just my honest opinion on that. But I think Atlanta, once again, will have 2 races in 2022, and this will be the second event. Right after Atlanta Motor Speedway, we're going to be headed out to Indianapolis Road Course for the Indy NASCAR doubleheader. I do expect that we will be having the Indy NASCAR doubleheader once again in 2022, and it will take place once again around the July to August area time in the NASCAR Cup Series field. Indianapolis Road Course, at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we're going to be there for the second time. As this upcoming year is going to be the first time we're going to be racing at the Indianapolis Road Course. Definitely look forward to that, by the way. But we'll see that again. We might see some IndyCar drivers run that event. Also see some NASCAR Cup Series drivers run the IndyCar event. We're not sure, to be honest with you, but this is going to be once again the second time in a historic event. Maybe we'll get IMSA along with that. I'm not sure, but we will see the Indianapolis Road Course back for the second time here in 2022. Right after the Indianapolis Road Course, we're going to be headed out to another road course track, but we're going to be headed back to the East Coast, and we're going to be in New York and racing once again at Watkins Glen. Watkins Glen has been a staple in the New York area. The racing overall over the past years has been extremely solid. In the last couple years haven't been great due to aero issues. But we'll see Watkins Glen once again in 2022. I think expected the crowd always sells out. And even when NASCAR was having declining attendance at points a couple years ago, Watkins Glen was basically selling out every single one of the events, and they were increasing attendance as a matter of fact. We'll see Watkins Glen back on the schedule once again in the 2022 season. Right after Watkins Glen, we are going to be racing at Michigan National Speedway for the only time in the 2022 season. Michigan, 2-mile track. Track hasn't been great, to be honest with you. This is really 2012. They repaved the track back then, but the track has been on the schedule since 1969. I don't see anything changing right there, and we'll see Michigan be the second to last race before the Playoffs. And the final race before the Playoffs, once again, is going to be taking place at Daytona International Speedway. I think NASCAR is going to consider maybe moving Daytona back to the 4th of July weekend, but this event, I think, should, in my personal opinion, remain as the cutoff race. I think the first time we ran this event, racing was extremely incredible. The racing was awesome, and I think we'll see incredible things come out of this. I think we'll see a lot of great racing here in the 2020 season at this event. And I think that the cutoff race will bring a lot more intrigue. Because let's be real, before this event, you had the Indianapolis race, and it was not great racing overall. So I think, once again, in the 2022 season, we're going to see Daytona as the cutoff race for the playoffs. And now after that, we're going to be jumping into the playoffs, going by rounds. And once again, we'll see the 16 rounds, basically no surprise right there. So let's start off with the round of 16. Let's go through that. So race 1 in the round of 16 is going to take place at Darlington once again, as it will be taking place on Labor Day weekend. This will be the kickoff of the playoffs. I think the racing's been really solid for the last couple years at Darlington Speedway. And once again, that will be the kickoff of the playoffs. It won't be the throwback week. You may be able to see some other teams like Wood Brothers pull off a sit and run some of their throwbacks right then and then if they can't run it during the Rebel 400 weekend. But we will see Darlington kick off the 2022 throwback week, the 2022 NASCAR playoffs. Right after Darlington, we're going to be racing once again at Richmond Speedway. I was considering taking one of the races from Richmond, but you really can't take one of the races from Richmond, especially since Richmond generally has a lot of attendance that goes out on that track. Plus, it's a major market. I honestly think they do deserve 2 races. We'll see another race once again at Richmond, and it'll be the second race of the round of 16. And the race that is going to cut off the round of 16 is going to take place on the normal concrete Bristol International Speedway. We'll see 2 lanes, 2 grooves, a lot of PJ1, but great racing overall. And we will see Bristol be the cutoff race once again. That will kick off, will actually end the round of 16. It's going to be intense, probably some tempers beating and banging around the track. The bumper run's probably going to be a thing that is activated, and probably some angry drivers active it, but that will be the conclusion of the round of 16. So now let's go ahead and jump into the round of 12. What is going to kick off the round of 12 in my honest opinion? We're going to start off with Las Vegas Motor Speedway once again. Las Vegas is expected to have 2 dates throughout the 2020 season. They signed an agreement that they are expected to have 2 race events that will take place through the 2029 season. Vegas is a major market for NASCAR, so it definitely makes sense why Vegas deserves to have 2 dates. Like I said, the racing overall there has been incredibly solid, and we will once again, I think in my opinion, once again in 2022, see it again. Right after Las Vegas, we're going to be once again headed out to Talladega Superspeedway for the 2nd time and for the 5th race of the 2021 season. I expect this race to be extremely crazy, especially since last year's with the playoffs being around. We have seen very few drivers finish these races due to the racing being incredibly crazy and intense. Yes, you've seen some great racing for sure, but these races have turned into slugfests and in turn into wreckfests. But regardless, I think we'll see this once again be the 2nd race of the round of 12. And the final race in the round of 12 that is going to take place once again at the Charlotte Roval. This race has been extremely popular racing over years. This track has been really good for the 3 or 4 years we've been to this track so far. The racing has never been disappointed so far. We thought the first year was the only year it was great. We've had 3 consecutive years where the racing's been fantastic. This track is loved by a lot of fans alike, including myself, and I think it's the perfect race to be the cutoff event. It's been the cutoff event since 2018. It definitely makes sense why it is a cutoff event, but we will see this race once again be the cutoff race for the round of 12. Now let's jump into the round of 8, and I think that this is going to be somewhat of a controversial opener in my opinion, but I think there's one racetrack that absolutely has deserved to have a cup date for quite a few years. I thought that this track should have gotten it back in this year. It should have, in my opinion, been on the schedule instead of some of the other tracks that were on the schedule. But I think that Worldwide Technology Speedway Gateway is going to be the opener of the round of 8. I think, like I said, Texas loses date, and I think a track that absolutely deserves to go on the schedule is Worldwide Technology Raceway. I think, one, the racing would be really good. You would get the 750 horsepower package. Since this track is a 1.25-mile track, you would get the 750 horsepower package as well. Number 2, the St. Louis area is a massive market in a massive region, and they sell out IndyCar events. It's one of the only few events. The fact that this is probably the only other event besides the Indianapolis 500 to sell it should tell you how big an event this really is. I think the racing's also been really good over the years. Truck racing, Xfinity racing has been really good. And I absolutely think this track deserves a plus. I think the racing be good. It's definitely a perfect market to have a playoff race take place. Right after Worldwide Technology Raceway, we're going to go a little bit more west once again, but not too far west, as we're going to be headed out to Kansas Speedway for the middle race of the playoffs. Kansas Speedway will once again take place there. It's the only time that we're going to be having Kansas on the schedule for the 2022 season. I love Kansas Speedway, don't get me wrong, the racing's been incredible, but I think some other tracks definitely deserve to have another date instead of Kansas. No offense. Like I said, I like the racing in Kansas a lot, but I think that we are going to see Kansas drop one of their dates, but it's going to be kept in the playoffs where it's been pretty much ever since the beginning, and Kansas will be the 3rd to last race on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. The 2nd to last race and the final race before the championship race is going to take once again at Martinsville Speedway. The 2020 Martinsville race, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest cutoff races in NASCAR history. Probably the best ever cutoff race since we've had this thing going on since 2014 for the cutoff event. This right here has been the best one in 2020. And Martinsville has always put on a good show. Started on day, it's a day-to-night transition, so that's also going to make it very interesting. We're going to have to keep up with the track as well. And we're going to see a lot of aggression, a lot of tempers, and a lot of beating banging. I think Martinsville is going to be the final race before the championship event. And the final event and the championship weekend, once again, is going to take place at Phoenix International Speedway. This has already been announced that this is going to be the championship weekend that is going to take place on November 6th. So this will be the season finale once again. While the racing has not been fantastic, this also is going to be the only time we're going to go to Phoenix National Speedway in 2022, in my opinion. I don't think Team Show Raw should have an advantage going back to the event. I don't think they need to be getting notes for the championship. I think the championship race, we should only race at that track once, in my honest opinion, and no team should be able to get an advantage going into those events. I think Phoenix is going to be the season finale once again in 22. It's already been confirmed and will only be there once in the 2022 season. So, anyway, those are my official 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule predictions. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel to be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Support my Patreon as well. Links description below for that. And combo your thoughts on today's video. What would your 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule be? Let me know in the comments below. And comment below how you think my schedule is overall. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. And I'll see you guys next time for some more great and awesome NASCAR content. Take care, everybody. PSA, I have a major announcement that is coming very, very soon on this channel that you definitely are going to be wanting to pay attention to because it does have a lot of implications when it comes. You may be seeing that tomorrow on the channel. Keep an eye on my channel for a major announcement that's coming. Keep an eye on my social media as well for a major announcement that's coming. Keep an eye on my channel. I would definitely really appreciate that.